Have you ever wondered how the historic artwork represented by a certain country could affect the way it's seen by society? Furthermore, could you imagine how contemporary artworks of the same country could make you change your mind about it? It's very simple to Google any country in the world to find out what art styles represent it. And usually, what you'll find is its most famous historic pieces. But what many don't know is the vast societies of groundbreaking new artists who are vying to make their visions known worldwide. Today, I would like to inform listeners about the richly cultural country of Turkey and the artwork its citizens have produced throughout history, and more importantly, what contemporary Turkish artists are trying to achieve today with their less conventional pieces of work. Now, like I mentioned before, if you were to Google Turkish art, you would probably find images of colorful traditional designs on porcelain dishes, like this, or ancient performance art in the form of twirling dervishes, or countless Madonnas with child. And if one were to visit Turkey, they couldn't go a day without visiting the famous Hagia Sophia Cathedral of Istanbul. Now, as a visual arts student, having taken many an art history class, as well as having had many a Byzantine influence on my own thesis work, I've seen these images more times than I can count. But what many don't know is how much the art world in Turkey has changed over the centuries. Where many of the works in history were known to be for religious purposes, now the works are more decorative or hyper-realistic, like these right here. Now, more so to appeal to wider audiences. These new artists also seem to be more incredibly innovative in terms of their mediums and open-minded in practice. I've also found that while these contemporary pieces are rather liberal in nature, they're not as rebellious conceptually as those of Turkey's neighboring country of Syria. Right there. Syrian contemporary artwork is incredibly conceptually deep, and most times very dark. A lot of this reflects on the condition of the country itself. Since they are in a time of great political strife and wars, their artists have been forced into exile because of their religious content toward these issues. Whereas most of the art that is being made in Turkey is not only accepted, but encouraged by officials in the country. Don't get me wrong. It isn't to say that Turkey is in a perfect condition in modern times. Turkey does still see the effects of these surrounding wars in their own land, like the thousands of Syrian refugees that have made a home there, taking a toll on their economy. What I'm getting to is that the broad view of art that is produced there is more for the pleasure and intrigue of the viewer than to make a statement. With the exception of a few, many Turkish artists today make work that is intricate and visually dynamic, so as to open itself up to the market of the world. Although critics may find this mundane and lower key than most, Turkey has one of the most lively art scenes in the world right now, having been hosted in galleries in more than 14 countries and reeling in more than $25 million cumulatively last year alone. The traveling show Contemporary Istanbul has wildly successful and inspiring to many that have witnessed it. But in conclusion, in my experiences as an American, it is very easy to misjudge a country's artistry, thinking it's been stuck in the past with their stylings. My advice is to delve a little deeper into what art is being made in the country right now. I believe you will find some of the most moving and creative imagery you've ever seen. And before you know it, you may even have learned something about the country that you didn't know before.